Welcome to the Fantasy Guides podcast series by the Elmore Project. Our guests are people who, through their work or hobbies, help develop and popularize the fantasy genre in various fields. They will talk about their activities, share their plans for the future, and their love for the genre. Today, our guest is
Vira Maliy.
Hello, my name is Vira Maliy, and I'm grateful for having me here in this podcast. I'd like to tell about my Facebook project, The Excursions of Bilbo Baggins. This is the public in Ukrainian language, which I created during the first weeks of the war. The war with Russia, which started in February 2022. Perhaps you will be surprised because during such events people are talking, thinking, focusing on Tolkien, but actually it happened so that my family and I stayed in Kiev, remained in Kiev. We were unable to leave the city and we stayed here all the time, and we remain here even now. The first weeks and months were the most difficult, first of all due to a complete uncertainty. We never know what would happen in an hour. Constant shellings, constant air raids, sirens howling, and not a single moment of peace. It was a terrible experience, like an apocalypse. We could never imagine that we, peaceful, normal, civilized people living in Europe will go through a full-fledged war. And Kiev, the capital city, was under attacks since the very first day of the conflict. So we never know. Well, all shops were closed, all clinics were closed. You were unable to buy food for pets, to consult a doctor, and you never know what would happen in an hour. In such a situation, I needed something very positive, something calm, something that will bring peace to my heart. And actually, when we talk about fandoms and books, my favorite one is the Middle-earth, and I decided to launch a project that would somehow distract me from all the terrors of war, because you just can go insane seeing all those things and knowing that the very next day something terrible may happen to you and your closest. So I created a Facebook public and called it The Excursions of Bilbo Baggins, because Bilbo is my alter ego in the Middle-earth. And why excursions? It's a dream of every Tolkien fan to visit Middle-earth in reality, so to say, to travel across it, to see different places, locations, to meet its characters, to see Valinor, to see the Misty Mountains, to visit Erebor, to see the dragons and the Vingelota, yes, the ship of Eärendil, to travel across Arda, the world, the fandom world we like so much. Of course, it's a dream, but let's pretend that we can reach this world, and let's play a sort of a game, like as if we are traveling across it in a company of people, traveling, investigating, enjoying this world. That was the concept. Actually, before launching the project, I looked through many publics and similar pages, and I liked most of all, but many of them lacked an idea, a definite concept. Most of them are nice, sweet publics where everybody posts everything he or she wants, but there is no scheme, there is no idea, there is like no vector in that. Why not to make travels? Why not to make stories? Why not to communicate most actively discuss the topics we like, the characters we're interested in. So I decided that my public will be different, and it will have tours, excursions, travels across Arda. So every week or two, we focus on some sort of a location, like you see, like Erebor or the Shire or Rohan or something else. And I choose the topic, or sometimes we choose it all together. I mean, me as an admin and my audience. And people ask questions. Questions are humorous. People want to know many things about Arda, starting from everyday details like where the hobbits have kindergartens, or what they do with the kids who became orphaned, for instance, or do they have police? Yes, and some sort of that things. Or for instance, what do dragons eat, and so on and so forth. And we focus on some sort of location, discuss it, and then move to a different one. So we are making full-fledged virtual trips across Arda. I do hope that after the war we will be able to change, to widen our format, to add meetings, to meet during some festivals, cosplay festivals, anime festivals, to make meetings, gatherings, or maybe trips across Ukraine, or maybe even abroad to the places that are connected or might be connected, or just look like Arda in our real world. So that's the idea. You may find my public in the Facebook. We support all languages except Russian. I think it's clear why. And follow our excursions, join them, and enjoy traveling across Arda. Question number 2 is, what artifact or creature you would like to have from some fandom, yes, in your real life. If we talk about the Middle Earth, that's surely the Ring of Power, though I still don't know how to deal with Sauron, who would surely claim his right to this artifact. And if it's something not related to the Middle Earth, of course, I would like to have something that will give me a very long life, yes, like an elvish life, strong health, or perhaps something that will enable me travel through time. Challenges and obstacles in my life and how I overcome them. Talking about my Facebook project, the Excursions of Bilbo Baggins, I say that we do need more authors to produce interesting content, because I lack time for that, really. I think that switching to online sessions may help. However, pretty often we have blackouts, and well, due to attacks, due to the war, and I think that will prevent many people from joining online conversations and lectures. Then I also want to make offline meetings with people from my group, at least for those who live in Kiev or not far from that. But again, it's dangerous to gather even small groups of people because of the constant danger of air raids. So I think I will try these ideas after the war. Then if it's about my real life, then I think that my major challenges are, well, first of all, time management. There are many things I would like to do. I have several hobbies I'm interested in, including Tolkien. However, I fantastically lack time for that. I should learn to manage it better, to complete maybe not all the tasks, but the major part of them. Then confidence. I often lack confidence in myself, though my previous job, I used to be a journalist, helped me a lot with that, but still not enough. I feel like following the advice of a psychologist, love yourself. It means care about yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy life, even now, to do things you like, enjoy, things that bring you comfort and calmness. Have the right, allow yourself to live and enjoy life. And I think that will help. Favorite characters. And here I would like to mention Prince Corvin, one of the key characters from the Amber Chronicles of Roger Zelazny. I liked him very much. First of all, because he rejected the crown and the power because the search of his own way of life, of his own sense of life, was more important to him than power, than the status of a king. I feel that this particular feature is common for both of us. Then, in the Middle Earth, of course, I like Bilbo, and as I said earlier, he's my alter ego, and I didn't choose him. I just understood at a certain moment that I'm a burglar who likes adventures, though he is very unexperienced. However, he wants his life to change, his world to be wider. He was not afraid to break stereotypes of the Shire and go on an adventure. I admire his bravery, and I think that my favorite fandoms. My first fantasy love wasn't the Middle Earth, but the Amber Chronicles by Roger Zelazny. I liked the cycle very much. I remember I was reading them when I was yet a schoolgirl, and I was so deeply fascinated with the book that I couldn't focus on anything else. And my major problem was to find more pocket money to buy the next one and the next one. There are 10 parts, 10 books in that story, in that cycle. And it was, I couldn't think about anything else but only about the adventures of those princes. And it was the middle of the school year, the time when you should think about your marks and your upcoming exams, and it was one of my final years at school, so it was time to think about choosing a profession and entering a high school and institute, and I'm just focused on all those adventures and the chaos and the amber labyrinth, and I was all deeply involved in that world, and it was my great love. But since that time I became cautious. It was fantasy because I understood I just can be caught and lured deeply inside those worlds. And regarding Tolkien, I was a great skeptic. His books were like childish stories or books for infantile people who didn't want to enter the real world, the adult life. But I am an English linguist by education, and Tolkien books are part of the program. Whether you want it or not, you should read at least a part of The Lord of the Rings. And it happened so that one day I read the Beowulf poem, which seemed to be very boring for me at that moment. And the next day I read The Hobbit, because I decided to start not with The Lord of the Rings, but with the first book, and the whole story starts with The Hobbit. And due to this time coincidence, I saw how much related the books are. And that was a fantastic feeling. First of all, I understood that Tolkien possessed profound knowledge of all those ancient legends, stories, fairy tales, but he was a very honest author. He never stole, you see, he never copy-pasted, never copied a slightest detail. He reimagined them, reforged, like the Aragorn's weapon, gave them another life in his world. And I was deeply touched by that. And then I liked the world itself. It was a very strange feeling. Imagine that you met a grandson of Julius Caesar, and this person is like a person of our time, using gadgets, technologies, riding an electric car, for instance, but still you seen him or in her an echo of something very ancient, the blood of that ancient Roman Empire, and that's something fantastic. The same happened to me when I read Tolkien, and the same happened to Bilbo, when just in the middle of the Shire he opens the door of his house, he, a respectful hobbit, a respectful citizen and member of that society, and a bunch of dwarves and a wizard enter his house, go to the kitchen, take his food, and start talking about dragons and giants and adventures and all sort of that things. And Bilbo is fascinated, and at that moment his journey started at his heart. And the same happened to me, and this is the way my journey across the Middle Earth started, and it's going on till nowadays. So I would like also to say a couple of words about other fandoms. I do like Star Wars, though Arda is always the first in my heart. And I'm approaching and trying to investigate the world of anime, which is something quite different, sort of a different planet. And I do feel that it's very captivating, and it can just lure me somewhere deep inside. So I'm again very, very cautious, but still I like such classical plots, such classical stories like The Black Butler, that's from the recent ones, or Bungo Stray Dogs. Unfortunately, my investigating of anime stories was interrupted by the war, but I'm trying to continue this traveling across the world of anime. Plans for the future. In our reality, it's difficult to plan our future. However, I should say that there are two things that I'd like to focus in my life now and later. And first of all, investigating the world of Tolkien, the Middle Earth. It would be great to make something larger, something international, something more interesting out of the excursions of Bilbo Baggins. I remember Corey Olsen, the famous Canadian literary expert, one of the most famous Tolkien experts in the world as well. He was a host of a fantastic podcast focusing on Tolkien, analyzing, explaining in a very simple and entertaining form The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion. There were several hundreds of episodes in that podcast, and the project stopped, but you still can find those episodes in the internet. What about creating a sort of online academy dedicated to Middle Earth? Sort of a site where you could go, which you can visit and find everything you want about Tolkien, find like-minded peers, listen to some news, for instance, join some online or perhaps offline events. That will need resources, that will need, first of all, a good site. Well, but why not to try? I think that's something that the Tolkien community would appreciate. Then cosplay. My great love is cosplay, and of course now we do not have festivals. We do not have events except for some maybe small parties somewhere in clubs or in cafes, and we lack that communication that united the whole cosplay community of our country. But let's think in a positive way. Many people, many cosplayers who stay in Ukraine, they keep crafting, they keep creating images and making photo sessions. That's all we can do now. Those who are abroad, they are attending foreign festivals, and they see that in what way they are different, what are the trends among foreign cosplayers, what are the rules and norms at foreign festivals, etc. When they return after the victory, when the peace will be established, when they return, they will surely use this experience here. And let's think that we have a lapse of time when we can learn something new, like learn crafting or sewing. And if we are abroad, then let's familiarize ourselves with the cosplay life there. Let's make friends with cosplayers in other states. We will need this knowledge and this experience later. Well, and if we come to sing farewell, I should say that the most important thing is to follow your dream. We do not know exactly what's our purpose, what's the aim of our life, but we should try, search for it, and I'm sure that our heart knows, always knows, what's your way. Do what you love. If you have a strange hobby or an ordinary one, like, I don't know, planting flowers, growing vegetables, if you like swimming or sailing, if you want to be engaged in cosplay, do what you like, however strange it may sound or look to other people. If you don't do what your heart desires, you won't live your own life. So do what you like. If you have a strange hobby like cosplay, it's even better, because this allows us to bring something unusual, something strange, to bring a miracle to this life, and perhaps that's what we were born for.